It's your girl Karina. I'm back for part two of Lilith in Libra. So if you are seeing this and haven't seen part one, I suggest to do that first. But real briefly, what I talk about in part one is the breakdown of Lilith, the aspect of Lilith and combining it with Venus, and how the insecurities arise through Venusian situations and circumstances, how Lilith and Libra play out in tumultuous relationships, as well as being the justice dealer, and how Lilith and Libra can often be the justice dealer, and it can really be for a sound reason. You could truly see why justice needs to be served in the situation. But because of the pain and torment that the Lilith and Libra it has gone through, sometimes it becomes over reactant. Like it becomes more than it needs to be, right? In order to completely kill the relationship based off of their situation. So this is like the person hurting other relationships, not just the ones that they're in, but when they see other people in their relationships, they can be like, that person is not doing it right. So I'm going to deal out justice. And it can be clear, they can see the injustice, but because of just playing the role, it can backfire and it can really cause a lot of chaos. And what ends up happening, and I mentioned this at the end of part one, is that Lilith and Libra can often not see their own wrongdoing. That can be a common situation, especially in a lower chaotic energy of Lilith, right? And the more higher manifestations, they are extremely self-aware, extremely taking the responsibility of what part they play in situations. But in the lower aspect, they may not be able to see their wrongdoings, and it might really not be so bad because it may not look so bad because it looks like they are giving out what is deserved, right, to the situations at hand, right? But then this is difficult when you're in a relationship with Lilith and Libra, and it definitely takes two, right, in order to see where things are going wrong. So if things are going wrong in a relationship and you're with a Lilith and Libra, they might not be able to see their responsibility. Even if it's clearly said or written out what their responsibility is, they might not be able to see it. And that can be tough because they're almost blinded by the injustice that you have dealt to them, that it's almost like there is no end all or be all. It's like being in a relationship with the judge, right? So this is the key with being the justice dealer, is that you're going to be in these certain situations until the Lilith and Libra person is able to really own their own responsibility. Then when they call somebody out for inequality or injustice, it really works. That's when it works, when they stand up and kind of confess their own place where they're not living up to par or doing the right things themselves. So they have to take self-responsibility. And when they do, they are the ultimate self-aware types. So the other aspect that I wanted to talk about this is the idea of cordiality and being cordial, like socially adequate. And Libra is that sign that is wanting to be like the person that understands the surroundings of being social and understanding what people's needs are in a social environment, right? Understanding like what the rules are, right, of the group and of the people around them. And so if something is out of whack, or if somebody's not like, if somebody's being too loud in a quiet environment, like the Lilith and Libra types in general, they have the gift of being able to be like, look, like you need to be quiet. Like we all need to be socially adequate right now to the environment, right? So what ends up happening sometimes with the Lilith and Libra is that they are the opposite of this, but it's not necessarily out of naivety or not knowing, because they have the gift of social adequacy and of understanding the environment, but because of their chaotic nature, they bring chaos instead of cordiality to a social environment. So they could be the one to, like, do something silly or do something that um, people are kind of off by. Like, they're like, why are you doing that? Or why would you say something like that? Or, you know what I'm saying? They're not able to um, truly be understood of their actions and what they're saying in a social environment. But sometimes it is deeper intentional even than they are aware of. And this is because of their need to kind of be relatable, but also be different and find their independence. Because Libra is an energy that can lose its independence very easily, especially when it gets swallowed up into the needs of others. So Lilith brings that Libra tendency and actually breaks it up and is like, well, in order to not lose myself, I'm going to be extremely disruptive and extremely, like, out of place and out of balance, so that I can actually find myself, or I can state myself to be the rebel of all that is Libra, right? So this also can happen. It can also be in the complete opposite, where instead of being out there and disruptive, they're more reclusive and not wanting to socialize at all. That is also a Lilith and Libra chaotic move, and not as naive and, like, ignorant as you may think. There might be a lot of intention happening there. So Libra is a sign that is able to charm others and understand the needs of others. When it is in a dark chaotic energy like Lilith, it is battling with the desire to do it in a way that is justified and helping others, versus the need to rebel against all that is Libra at all. So you're dealing with, do I want to be social, or do I want to be completely opposite? Do I want to be kind, or do I want to be opposite? And this is a back and forth polarity that you're dealing with. So the higher levels of Libra come in when you choose self responsibility. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next Lilith video.